This has been a really good year for horror movies thus far. My current top two are Bring Her Back and Sinners, but if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you've already heard of those. I also don't think they 100% fit the Halloween vibe I'm going for with this video. Bring Her Back is way too dark and depressing, while Sinners is too hot and sweaty. They're fantastic movies, but I can't see myself watching those while waiting for trick-or-treaters. I saw Weapons on opening night, which was a lot of fun, but again, I'm assuming you've already seen that one. If not, it would make for a great watch on Halloween night. I actually feel the same way about The Conjuring Last Rites, which I wasn't expecting since I'm not the biggest fan of the Conjuring franchise. If you skipped out on it due to the quality of the third film, The Devil Made Me Do It, this one is a lot better. It's not amazing, it kind of feels like it's missing a second act, but overall, it's pretty fun. I haven't seen The Black Phone 2 or Shelby Oaks yet, so I can't comment on those, but there is another big one I wanted to mention. VHS Halloween. It's one of the more consistent entries in the series, with all of the shorts being at least decent. That being said, I don't think it has a single segment that you absolutely have to see. However, if you're looking for found footage vibes this Halloween, it probably won't leave you disappointed. So let's get into the actual list. Night of the Ripper takes the logline from John Carpenter's Halloween, the whole babysitters getting stalked by a masked killer thing, and then takes it in its own weird direction. It's a slasher with found footage elements and a police procedural. It's got a ton of twists and turns, some of which I saw coming, others which I very much did not. Brandon Christensen directed this one, who previously made Superhost. I was a really big fan of that movie, and if you've seen it, some of Night of the Ripper's sensibilities will be familiar to you. I think Brandon Christensen is a director to watch out for. His movies have a ton of personality. Most importantly for today's video, Night of the Ripper has excellent Halloween vibes. It checks all the boxes. It's set on Halloween night in the suburbs, there's a masked killer running around, and it's all tied together with a great synth score. Jessica Clement, who plays the lead, makes for a great final girl. There's a lot of layers to her performance that aren't immediately apparent. I wish I could expand on this, but I obviously don't want to spoil anything. In that regard, this is actually a surprisingly difficult movie to talk about. There's some spoiler stuff that I think is a little wonky, but if I only had one movie from this year to watch on Halloween night, it would be this one. Do you want to see Rosamund Pike freaking the fuck out in a car for 80 minutes? Of course you do. Hallow Road is the latest film from Babak Anvari, who did Under the Shadow. That's a great Iranian horror from 2016. He then did two films in a row that went straight to streaming and were quickly forgotten about. To be fair, I've heard pretty good things about his Netflix crime film I Came By, but there's also Wounds, which I don't think anyone liked. It seemed like Anvari was maybe destined to be a one-hit wonder director until Hallow Road came out earlier this year. Now he's attached to direct a Cloverfield sequel, and honestly, good for him. This shit bangs. Hallow Road has a certain EC Comics Tales from the Crypt-like quality to it that kind of sneaks up on you. It's a very simple morality tale that starts as a thriller and then goes in some crazy directions. 95% of this movie takes place in a car with Rosamund Pike and Matthew Rhys rushing to the scene of an accident involving their daughter. From there, a simple moral dilemma turns into an introspective look at parenting. I wouldn't say that Hallow Road scared me, but it does have a nice spooky atmosphere. At first, you might question its inclusion here, as it takes some time before the true nature of the story reveals itself. After the first 25-30 minutes, I was questioning if I was even watching a horror film. I was like, oh, this seems really good, but maybe I misinterpreted what people were saying about it, because this just seems like a thriller. And before I could even finish that thought, it became very clear to me that I was, in fact, watching a horror movie. The one criticism I have of Hallow Road is that they're maybe a little too married to the whole car thing. It feels a little bit like a gimmick at times. The film's only 80 minutes long, with the ending wrapping up really quickly, so it does feel like you're missing a third act. That being said, I don't think the ending's bad, just don't expect them to get out of the car much. Somnium is an independent horror that was in production for years, and because of that, it kinda got a raw deal. While they were making this one, another movie with a similar concept came out and became an indie darling. So now every conversation about Somnium starts with assholes like me reminding you that this other movie, Come True, is really great. This has to be frustrating for the team behind Somnium, but twin films aren't exactly a new concept. That's just the way these things go sometimes. It's about an aspiring actress who takes a part-time job at a sleep clinic where strange things are happening. They provide this treatment that, on paper, sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme. The pitch is that if you hook yourself up to one of their machines and go to sleep, all your dreams will come true. The main character is understandably skeptical and begins investigating what's really going on with her new employer. Meanwhile, she does still want to be an actress, so the deeper the conspiracy goes, the more she wants to believe. There's definitely some Starry Eyes vibes here in that regard. I love horror movies about nightmares and dream logic, and Somnium really delivers in that department. It's got an excellent third act with lots of nightmarish visuals. While I do agree with the common consensus that Come True is the better sleep clinic horror movie, I don't think that means you shouldn't see this one. Somnium has some really good sci-fi horror vibes. Speaking of sci-fi horror, Marshmallow is one of the biggest surprises of the year so far. I only took a chance on this one because it stars Georgia Wigham, who I think is really great on the first season of Ted. She's mainly done supporting roles so far, but I feel very strongly that she could lead a project. Marshmallow is actually the second of 2 summer camp slashers that released this year. The other one, Hell of a Summer, was a bit more high profile since it was co-directed by Finn Wolfhard. That one didn't get great reviews, but I still think it's pretty fun. It beats Marshmallow in the kills department, but that's because Marshmallow is going for something a little bit different. The main characters here are children, not counselors. We see things from their very limited perspectives, as strange occurrences are happening around the camp grounds. There's some elements of paranoid thrillers thrown into the mix, which I really wasn't expecting considering its summer camp slasher aesthetic. Marshmallow is a very unique movie. I'm not 100% sure I loved the ending, but getting there is an absolute trip. The Damned was released in January, which is typically a dumping ground for bad horror movies. It didn't do very well in theaters, but I think that's mostly because people hadn't heard of it. I didn't even know this movie existed until it was out of theaters, which is crazy considering knowing about horror movies is kind of what I do here. I understand that a period piece folk horror isn't exactly going to be mainstream, but come on, they could have at least tried to market this movie. It got very good reviews. It's especially crazy that the marketing for this movie didn't reach me, considering how much I love its star, Odessa Young. Where's my Assassination Nation crew at? I'm tired of people pretending that this is not an absolute banger. The Damned follows Eva, played by Young, and the workers of a fishing outpost she inherited from her late husband. Tensions within the group are at an all-time high due to a particularly rough winter that has their supplies dwindling. When they discover a shipwreck not too far from their outpost, some of the crew wonders if they've found their saving grace. Turns out it's anything but. The Damned really shines in its world building. They shot the film in Iceland, and the costume and production design is immaculate. I think this is one of the best looking horror movies of the entire year. There's an attention to detail here that I think rivals Robert Eggers' latest couple of movies, so if you like those, definitely check this one out. Now for something completely different. I saved Witchboard for the end of this video because it's honestly pretty dumb. This is not a good movie, so please don't see this as a serious recommendation. However, the more I thought about this list, the more I felt like I had to include this one. If you want to watch a so bad it's good horror movie this Halloween, This is it right here. I was hooting and hollering at the screen throughout the entire movie. It's bonkers. Witchboard feels like it fell out of time. It's got a big late 90s, early 2000s energy to it, and I think that's beautiful. In some ways, the throwback feel of it makes sense. It's technically a remake of a 90s movie with the same name, but it's pretty much a remake in name only. This entire project is actually really funny to me, because who was clamoring for Witchboard to come back? I don't think most people know this property even exists. What makes it even stranger is that Chuck Russell directed it. He's done a lot of movies over the years, but I'll always think of him as the director of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 1988's The Blob. Those are two of the best horror movies of the 1980s in my opinion, so having him return to horror is really exciting. Witchboard is both a haunted object movie and a supernatural slasher. It's about a group of friends who are opening a restaurant together when one of them stumbles upon the witchboard. Like, literally, she just finds it in the woods. After she plays with it, her friends start dying in increasingly gruesome ways. Then we also follow a coven of witches that are actively looking for the board. This is actually the first time a Witchboard movie has witches in it, believe it or not. Look, this movie's super dumb, but I think it's dumb in a really enjoyable way. We're still getting a lot of 1980s throwback movies, so Witchboard felt refreshing to me. It reminded me of movies like Wishmaster or Subspecies, the 90s franchises that never reached the heights of their 80s predecessors. If you know what you're getting into, I think Witchboard is a lot of fun. Is there a movie you think I should have included on this list? If so, let me know down in the comments below. I think it's really cool that whenever I make a video like this, I get a ton of suggestion from you guys. So I always look forward to that. I know I'm not the best at responding to comments all the time, but I do appreciate every single one of you. If you're new here, maybe subscribe. I think we have fun talking about horror movies. Leave a like, comment, all that stuff, and we'll talk about more movies soon. I think that's it. Happy Halloween. Take care of yourselves.